Welcome, everybody. I know how valuable your time is, so I'm grateful that you're here this evening. And the aim of this webinar is for me to give you some tools and techniques and a little bit of an insight into how to cultivate calm within was the title, actually. I've actually named the little presentation that I've done Rooted in Wellness. I thought it was quite apt with it being dentistry. I'm not sure if how many of you are actual dentists, but oh, he's already put that. Not yet, Caesar. He's already put it on. You can Well, you can keep it if you want, or just keep it like this. So I've got my lovely assistant Caesar, by the way, who I'm going to be speaking to like switch backwards and forwards to my presentation so we can because I'm just a tech dinosaur and I was trying to do it. I was like, please, can you help me? He said, no worries, I'll just come on and when you want to go off and on it. I really need a bit of more of a lesson, I think. I can do it, but I just had a panic. So, the first thing I want to do is ask you a question. I want you to tell me if you've ever felt like, or raise your hand even, I can't even see if you've raised your hands, or if you've ever felt like you're having a mental internal breakdown while still having to put a smile on your face. And in your case, if you are in the dentist industry, well, you've got a drill in your hand. Well, it's a little bit worrying for the patient anyway. But I've definitely had that internal meltdown and still having to push through and put a smile on my face. Especially dentists, I think they're only people that can keep calm while they've got somebody in the chair that's gagging or crying at the same time. So I've got full respect for any of you guys. I don't really like the dentist, which I don't think there's many people that love going to the dentist, but and when Steve actually approached me to ask me to do the webinar and told me the stats of dentistry and how high they were on levels of exhaustion, burnout, depression, anxiety, at first I was really shocked because I just didn't really think of it. But then the more I really thought about it and dissected how obviously there is long hours, there's back-to-back patients, the pressure of working in such a vulnerable space for people, isn't it? To come in and have somebody working in your mouth, it's daunting in itself. So I get why people, including me, don't love going to the dentist. So with the that in mind, the worksheet that I've give you, the first couple of questions are just about, finding out how you are today, because I want you to use this to some self-exploration and just to see where you are in your own wellness and well-being. So the first one, if you have got the workbook, it's just asking for you to rate how you're feeling on a scale of 1 to 10. Your overall well-being, 0 being depleted and 10 being completely energized, loving life, absolutely high as a kite, buzzing, which obviously is very hard to sustain even if you do feel like that at times. And then a few words how you mentally feel, emotionally, mentally, and energetically. And then there's a couple of options, which is in the presentation. I don't know if he wants to. Do you want to put the presentation on now, Caesar? Sorry. Yeah, so we'll start it. Yeah, just there's a couple of options. I have got it on here. I think it's the third slide. If you just go flick across, next slide, that's just some stats. Yeah, so there's a little bit of a stress signals inventory. Which of these do you relate to? And just have a little look at those. It's just really important to sort of be aware of when you're feeling in like low emotional states, low vibrations. I'm going to talk about energy in a minute, and how that, how being aware of that can really help when you're absorbing other people's energy. So the wheel of life, in one of my workshops that I've done this self-awareness strategy, and it's a wheel of, there's 8 different areas of life, but because we've only got 45 minutes and I wanted to just have a look at and dissect it into 4 different sections, which is also on the workbook, which is home, work, social and self. And I just wanted you to give yourself a score out of 1 to 10 on them different areas. And if you can tell me in the comments which one that you scored lowest. I'm going to have a look on here. There you have. So is it, so home is, can be stressful. You know, you're coming home, you're maybe carrying a lot of stuff from work, and then things might be difficult at home, or you've got the kids running around, if you've got families, and you're having to, as women, we have this nurturing instinct just to put everyone and everything before ourselves, so much so that we do get depleted, and we come to the point of exhaustion. There's this, one of the stats there is 75% of female dentists actually say that they experience emotional exhaustion. So being at work, like, what does that look like for you? Then obviously in your social circles, it may be that you're, it's a real, when you get time to do that, it is sort of how you do relax. Or maybe there's there is your environment of your social circles, there is, you feel pressure, or you feel like you struggle to put boundaries in place. And then the self, and this is the one that I really wanted to focus on, because this is your root. This is your, if you're not concentrating on yourself, this is almost like your root of your well-being. And it's like the chakras are the energy centers that come through the midline of the body, and the root is like your foundation, and that is yourself. And if your self is really low, of your scores, then it will have a knock-on effect to everything else in your life. You go next slide, please, Caesar. Oh, so this is the next, before we go any further, I want to just tell you a little bit about my story and how I got to, why I'm so passionate about the wellbeing industry, and what I do with the retreats and working with ladies and helping them sort of unravel their own like discomfort, I guess, and their own their past, and be able to understand themselves, and the triggers and the whys. And I'm absolutely loving what I'm doing now. But going back to Housewives, if you do know me from the Real Housewives of Cheshire, this actual image is sort of the last time, the scene where I thought no more. And have you ever had a time in your life where you felt like you're in an environment, life's kind of pulling you along, and it feels familiar, but it's becoming more and more uncomfortable, so much so that you know you have to take action. And it takes a lot of courage to take action sometimes in them environments, to put yourself first, but it's almost like the universe makes it that uncomfortable, so you don't have a choice but to take that action. And at this point here, these images, we were on the boat in Gibraltar, we were filming, it was 2 o'clock in the morning, we've been drinking all day, everyone was arguing. If you've seen the show, you'll know that it can be quite toxic, arguing at times. It was very personal for me. And this is the point where I remember sitting on this boat and looking at the edge and thinking, get me off this boat. I visualized myself going to the end of the boat and jumping off. And I thought, that is the end for me. I need to get out of this. obviously you see Tanya crying there, and I just knew I had to leave. So I made the decision to leave the show. But what I realized through the journey that I've been on is this all started way before I even went on the show. And in life, I think there's a series of things that happen that create different shifts, that give you an awareness to sort of open your mind, I guess, and create shifts to the awareness of the power that lies within you. So it started for me. I had crystal healing. I don't know how woo-woo anyone is on here. If you're, but we are all energy. Like I said, I'm going to talk about energy in a minute. But we're all energy. We're energetic beings, and I started having crystal healing, and so that introduced me to sort of the angel realm. We all have angels, guides, like a higher power, whatever you want to call it. And with the when I was having the crystal healing, I got pregnant. And I've always wanted to do natural pregnancy. I end up having hypnobirthing, and this really created the main shift for me. And the reason why I'm telling you this, it'll become apparent in the next slides. With hypnobirthing, has anyone ever heard of hypnobirthing? I know I can't see anybody, but you have, yeah. So it's a really thank you, Vicky. It's a really powerful way to have a child, basically, because you are totally in control, because you are totally engaging with your mind and your body, and you use language, you use affirmations, you use visualization, and that all came full circle when I started doing the self-development and the meditation and the yoga courses and everything, and it pulled me back, and like that is what it was all about. And you use different terminology through the birth, like instead of saying how often are your pains, you say surge. How often are your surges? The two words have different terminology, and therefore you interpret them. Your perception of them is then differently, and your body then reacts differently. It's very clever because we are all very clever, intuitive beings. And even in the dentistry, I know that when you put in the needle in, you're going to feel a sharp scratch, and or when you're doing a needle, when you're going to have a blood test, I don't know if there's a way that you can alter the terminology of the words that potentially might change the perception of what people are expecting. I don't know, but there's so many different elements that could be looked at through the almost subliminal, have I got that right? Subliminal language that is used, even signs on the wall in the clinic, and yeah, so there's lots of different ways. So that was sort of my introduction to how powerful my mind was and my body was, and the connection to both of them, which then stemmed me on to later on doing all the meditation and everything. So I left Housewives and then made lots of different decisions. I left my partner of that I'd been with for 25 years. I also did lots of wonderful things. I started to really just do things for me and started to learn. My brain was like a sponge. And this is the point when we start to take action and to make decisions, then other things come to us. If you just do the next slide, Caesar. Don't know if I can't move it along, can I? So this obviously just a little bit of an insight to what I got up to after I left Housewives. Boxing match, doing the podcast parachute jump, doing the Great Wall of China. I ended up going to Kenya and working with the charity that I'm still involved with. I've written a self-help journal. So all these things just happened when I made that decision to pull away from what was familiar and take action for myself. And that is why I now run the retreats, and I'm so passionate about helping others, access their own power and their own well-being. Next slide, Caesar. So, rooted in wellness, I've made like an acronym which is has 7 parts to it, and we'll get right into it. So, if you want to go to the next one, Caesar. So the first element I want to work on, we will never get through all 7 of them. So hopefully you'll have me back and we can do another one. But I'm going to run through a couple of them that I think that are important and that you will get something from. 1 second. Oh, my dry mouth. So energy, as I said, we're all energy. You can do the next slide, Caesar, sorry. So we're all energy, we're all vibrating, and we are all atoms, like tiny, tiny atoms. And, I didn't really pay much attention in science, I'll be honest, when I was at school. But we are literally not even solid. And that just blows your mind that we are just little atoms vibrating, which makes sense why we are affected with the frequency of the energies that other people are emitting or that we are emitting from ourselves, from our past experiences. So if you think of a radio channel and you switch a radio channel on, and that is one frequency, and then you can change the channel to a different frequency if you don't like the music. We can also do that with our own vibration, our own emotion. Emotion is energy in motion. So if you think about, well, for instance, I think it's on the question, one of the questions, have you ever felt anybody else's energy? Whether it's you can walk into a room and somebody's high energy and happy, and you just feed off that energy because they feel, whether they feel warm or they feel so much joy, and you can actually like feed off that. But similarly, you can feed off somebody who has low energy and negative energy, and that can be quite difficult, especially if you're an empath and you pick up energies and then you carry that with you and you almost feel other people's pain, if you will, and you pick up on it. And if you don't know how to release that, if you don't know how to protect yourself you can carry that. You can carry it on into your home life, into your social circles, or like push people out. It can be very detrimental to your health because then it sits in the body as disease, that can cause all the health problems. So being in the dentist industry, as we've said earlier, about people not wanting really to happily like skip into the dentist and jump into the chair and just open the mouth, the most vulnerable part of the body. So they're carrying fear. Fear is energy. So if you just flick to the next screen, Caesar, thank you. So fear is energy. It's an energy that's emitted from people that are walking into the dentistry, or even at any time in life. You're coming around people that have low energy. If they're feeling guilt or grief is a big one as well. You could absorb that. You could absorb that energy. This is the emotional scale of consciousness. It's a book that David Hawkins written, and it is just shows you there what number that these different emotions calibrate on. And you can see how love is right up there at 500, but there's so many different levels. So it's very difficult to, just jump from something that's quite low, an energy and emotion that's quite low, and expect to just move up very like to the top one. And this just shows you that you can reach for the next available emotion. You don't have to reach for like from the lowest one. If you're in a low vibrational state, you can just try and get angry about something, or desire to feel better, or have the courage to reach for something else that's going to make you feel better in that moment. That's talking about yourself. But with regards to other people's energy, that you have no control over, the only control that you have is your reaction to it and how you protect yourself and what you allow in. Can you go to the next slide, Caesar? So with that in mind, when we talk about boundaries, obviously there's boundaries of being able to say no when you don't want to do something. I think as women, we find that quite hard at times. Um, people pleasing, and that is all down to our upbringing, I guess, being told that you're a good girl if you're agreeing to something, or we create these attachments to according to our behavior when we're younger. So it's really important for you to protect your energy on an energetic level, as well as being able to say no, and have them boundaries in place outside of the workplace. Because if you're feeling like you need time for yourself, it's important that you're able to do that. But with regards to your energy field, so this image here, this beautiful image of this gorgeous lady, I think she's a lady, she's got the voluptuous figure. I'm not asking you the questions on the worksheet. Sorry, I keep forgetting I've got this worksheet. Let me have a look. So what am I up to? When was the last time? Oh yeah. So when was the last time you said yes, when you really wanted to say no? I'm not sure if has everyone got the worksheet? Yeah. Um, Yeah, I think I'll just let you have a look at the worksheet in your own time, because and then I'll just go through what, because I'm conscious of time as well, because I can talk. So the energy field, this beautiful aura that we're talking about how people have an aura or an energy that they might be emitting, that is that we pick up on, that is fearful, that will then potentially affect us. So this is about protecting your energy field and your boundary, and how to do that. So on a daily basis, and this is something that I do on a daily basis, is go and tune in to your heart space. If you want to do it with me now, you can put your hands on your heart, and you can just close down the eyes. And I just want you to breathe into the space. Don't forget, we're all energy. We all have this beautiful energy, this aura. We're all them atoms vibrating. And this is just about harnessing that energy within your heart space. Your heart is the most powerful energy in the body. So if you just home into that, and when you breathe in, I just want you to visualize a beautiful bright light within your heart center. Give it a color that is relevant to you, that resonates with you, and just breathe into this space. Feel your heart beating within your palm. And with each breath, just visualize this beautiful white light increasing in size until it gets bigger and bigger. Encapsulating your whole body like a shield, like a bubble of light. This is your energy, your love, your shield of light that you can cultivate at any time. And this is a way of completely reinforcing that bubble of light. And as you breathe, you feel it getting stronger and stronger. Nothing can get into this bubble. Now I want you to visualize in your mind a time that you may be thinking of moving into in the future, or something that's past, where you felt like you needed this bubble, or you need it in the future. And I just want you to play out that scenario. And whatever's happening, where you may normally allow words to affect you, or the energy of others, And just visualize whatever it is, just reflecting off this bubble. It doesn't get anywhere near you. It just bounces right off. And then breathe into that space again. With each breath, it becomes stronger. With each time anyone tries to manipulate or puncture this bubble, it just gets stronger. You can be compassionate and loving, but you can just allow it to bounce off and not take it on. And then just slowly just open your eyes back into the space. And that's just a really lovely exercise to do before you're going to go into, whether it's work, whether it's going back home in the morning, just tuning into your heart with thanks and gratitude for this reinforced energy. And it is just seeing that image here, just reinforcing that energy, because that's exactly what we are, and that's what is, we have access to it at any time. Can you go to the next slide, please? Then the E for feel, so this is the feel framework, is expression, something that we don't do enough of. I mean, screaming like the lady here, which is very therapeutic. We, again, just going back to the childhood and expression, and how you probably remember your mum saying don't cry or be quiet, or being told that, almost learning that the attachment of being quiet, being a good girl, high performing, doing something where you're getting praise for anything that's out of the out of that, crying, shouting, screaming, being angry, is told that you're naughty, that you're not meant to do that, and everything is suppressed. And this is why when we're feeling upset, and we're obviously, even when we're around friends, and I mean, I've told my girls, used to tell them, and my girlfriends, don't cry, don't cry, because it's something that is automatically ingrained in us because of our upbringing, and it makes us feel uncomfortable. So we're telling them not to cry because it makes us feel uncomfortable. But it's so important to cry. It's important to have that release. And if you need to go, this is a really good exercise. Go out in nature. I mean, being out in nature is just the most amazing way to ground and re-energize, because the trees and plants and the ground, they all have an energy source, and we are electric beings. The sun is electric and the earth is magnetic. We are electromagnetic, sorry, and we're almost like a battery. So being out in nature is going to help us just recharge and reinforce all our energy and our well-being. There's so many benefits to it. But going out in nature as well, screaming, if you need to do that. I've done it before and it is so therapeutic. This is really good to do with children as well, because we're so often telling them to be quiet because they're noisy and they're doing our heads in or whatever else, but actually just giving them the opportunity to go and scream on the top of a hill, and it's okay to do that, and it's really liberating. So the other way is a great way, and it's been such a healing tool for me, is by journaling. Now, journaling, writing, if you've had a tough day, and I can't express this enough, that if you've had a crap day and there's people that have wound you up and like peed you off, and you go home and you write down what that is. It doesn't matter how horrific it sounds, how like many names you call anybody else, how much you swear in it. The important thing is getting it out of your head and writing it all down. You can burn it afterwards. You don't have to keep it. It is just a really, 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 really amazing tool to be able to release whatever's in your subconscious or whatever's in your environment that you've picked up on in that day. And what's really important is there's so many times when I've done this and they call it cathartic writing, and you'll be really surprised when you start. People say, well, what do I write? I don't know what to write. Well, trust me, when you start writing, you won't stop, and it's like it will come out. You're like the mad professor. I mean, there's times when I've done it, I don't even know what I've written. I can't even read the writing, but it doesn't matter. It's about getting it out of your head, and always end with I wholly and truly accept myself, or I love you, or there's a beautiful mantra called the Ho'oponopono mantra, an old Hawaiian mantra, which is I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And we could do a whole workshop on that. But it is words are really powerful, which I'm going to talk about in a second as well. And they're a really important tool to when you can become aware of the language that you're using. So journaling, getting out in nature, not suppressing the emotions that you're carrying home with you, screaming on the top of a hill. There's a really good one that my friend taught me as well. You know, if I go to and I'm like stressed out and I'm talking to you like, Leanne, just stop, right? Hold it in your hand, hold it all in your hand, squeeze it really tight, whatever is going on, get it all, let it drain into the end of your hand, squeeze it, turn it round, take a deep breath and just let it go. And it is actually really therapeutic to do it. So next slide, please, Caesar. So let go, release what's not yours. It's about understanding what is, and let's face it, whatever is going on in the present moment, if there's something that is of a different vibration, I believe that we're all made we're all made of love, but we're all, what's the word? We come into this world with, we're in that love vibration, aren't we? We're in a delta brainwave state from the ages of 0 to 2, which means that we are in a state of complete bliss and we're absorbing all this information. That is our natural state of being. And it's everything else that happens that's thrown at us through life that creates the experiences in the subconscious mind. And everything that we then come across is almost a trigger that pulls us in to our past. So even whatever's going on if there's a trigger, it's not yours. It's not yours because it's not what's happening in the present. Sorry, it's my dog. In the present moment. Because this time, this very moment is what's stay there. Is what's sorry, the present moment is all that matters. Like this very moment, what's happened before has passed, what has happened in the future hasn't happened yet. So by worrying about that is it's just wasted energy. So it's about really harnessing and realigning with that present moment and understanding that, getting back to just being in your most authentic state, which of course is that love vibration, and making your way back up the levels of consciousness. You okay? Next slide. Let me see. So the nervous system reset. I'm just going to have a little look at the. Yeah. So the nerve. Can you go next one? The power of the heart is the power of life. This is, again, just your coherence of your heart. Your heart is 5,000 times more powerful than your brain. We have three separate brains, if you will: the heart, the mind, the heart, the mind, the heart, and the gut. And obviously, we know through the dentistry is like it starts with the food, isn't it? With the mouth. And then whatever is in the gut can cause havoc with all of our energy systems. So, but tuning into that heart coherence our heart is the most powerful, hence why the exercise I was just doing about the heart energy and tuning into that and allowing that to protect us, because it is the most powerful energy center, where the saying goes, follow your heart. There's a reason for that, is because it knows the way. But obviously the brain is a computer. The brain is a computer that is collating all this data from the minute that we're born, and everything that is stored up in the brain creates the experiences, and then obviously that's what then pulls us back into the past. We think 60 to 70,000 thoughts per day, and 90% of those are the thoughts from yesterday. So that's why we have to work really hard to try and reprogram the mind and create the new beliefs, because it's what's already been in, it's already in the computer. So by tuning into ourselves, aligning yourself with your heart, meditating daily, you know, being out in nature, these are all things that help us, you know, retrain the brain, and it's really important. So can you go to the next slide? And we're up to, I was like so catch stress early. Let me just, yeah, we've sort of done that. Awareness. So awareness of when you're feeling stressed. Where is it feeling in the body? Where is it in the jaw? Do you feel your jaw clench? Is it your neck, your shoulders? Where do you feel the pain? Is it your hands? Is it your gut? It's awareness of what's happening. What is the physical things that happen when you're going into that stress state, into that fight or flight state? And I'm sure you're aware of lots of people talk about the saber-toothed tiger coming in thousands of years ago, and that was the only threat that we had. But nowadays, it's probably back-to-back patients, the stress of, you know, just being at home and the kids running around, and having to do everything, you know, for everybody all the time, and it leaves us in that highest state of stress, fight or flight all the time, and that's what can cause us to be to hold on to the energy within the body, and that creates that stagnant blockages, if you will. So there's the awareness of what's happening in the body, and then realigning with the breath. It only takes 90 seconds to realign and do 90 seconds of breath to actually help calm the system. I'm going to go through a little breath work, very short breath work, just to show you how quickly that you can actually calm your nervous system just by breathing. And 80% of us don't do it efficiently, crazily. Crazily, is that even a word? So there's a little tip here. Anyone that's got like again, in your working environment where you've got patients, or you're working with people, which is the majority of working spaces, that you can almost preempt what's going to happen. Maybe it's a family member that you know is just going to trigger you because they're going to start saying things that are going to annoy you. You know, you can write a list. So it was actually one of my mentors, Cheryl Chapman, that told me about this, and it's absolutely genius. It's called bingo. So if you go to the next slide, so it's a little bingo image there. It's called bingo, right? You write down all the things that you are preempting, that they're going to say or that they're going to do, that you know is going to trigger you. And you have either a mental bingo card in your head, and every time they do something that you know that you're preempting they're going to do, you just go bingo. So it takes the power out of it. It completely diffuses whatever is like what would normally trigger you and get you angry or frustrated. Like I say, whether it's an environment at home, it's a family member, or it's somebody that you're dreading coming into the dentist practice because you know how awkward they're going to be. But you just literally say mentally, bingo. And so you have no power over me. That's you just have no power over me. And it is really, really, really powerful, really fun game to play in your head with yourself. You might just like start laughing to yourself. So yeah, next slide, Caesar. Then like onto the language. Like I said earlier, language, words have power. Um, when we what I was saying about how we think like 90% of the thoughts are from the day before, but actually speaking the words into existence is the most powerful thing that we can do as well. Writing them down is spelling. When you're writing, you're spelling, you're actually casting a spell, which is why they call it spelling. Like back in the when we were all witches back in the day, we would be getting burnt at the stake and everything. So yeah, that's why they call it spelling, because when you're writing, you're casting your spell. So when you're manifesting and you're writing everything that you want to bring in, or you're writing how you want your day to look, or you're visualizing it, writing it is going to reinforce that. But being in a state of stress, just even saying the words, I am safe, I can reset, or anything similarly. I have got a little exercise that I've written down here. Your ideal 3 words that your ideal day-to-day life would look like. If you had 3 ideal words of what your day-to-day work life would look like, or just life in general. And then with those 3 words, create 3 affirmations. So there's examples on the workbook. So if your one word is calm, it's I access calm even in the middle of chaos. Confident, I trust my skills, I've done this before. Or light, I allow joy and softness into my day. They're just examples, but you don't have to do it now. But just writing 3 words of your ideal day, and you can do more than 3. You can do this in any for any area of your life, not just work life. It can be home life, it can be social life. It can just be about harnessing and taking care of yourself as well. And use these affirmations and say them out loud, and even write them on your mirror if you have to, or I would advise you to do that, because it's really a really positive way to wake up in the morning and actually look in the mirror and be reminded of those words as well. So language is super, super powerful. And then the last one, next. Oh, so let me just quickly talk about this. This is just an example of how powerful your words can be. This is a book called Hidden Messages in Water. This is Dr. Masaru Emoto, and he did experiments on water, bearing in mind we are 70%, 70, 80% water, by putting buckets of water and putting labels on them saying thank you, or I will kill you, and separating them, and actually getting people to pray over with intent over them, or say these words with intent. And then after analyzing them through a microscope, the positive words and statements, as you can see, all crystallized in beautiful shapes. And then the latter ended up like this. So that is what you're doing to yourself when you're speaking bad about yourself. We all do it, especially as women. But it's about being able to check yourself when you're it's awareness again. Everything's down to awareness, whether it's about something that's happening in the day, or about the self, about beating yourself up, about how you're feeling, how you're looking. It all has a detrimental effect on your well-being, and that will then, you'll carry it for your energy. So it's really, really vital that you're very aware of the words. Yeah, hence like the beautiful mantra, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. No matter what happens in your day, even throughout the day, I've used this mantra on trying to heal relationships. If I've struggled with other people, funnily enough, I was just triggered earlier on today, and I seen an image of somebody that I've don't speak to anymore. Bet you can guess who it is if you know me. But if and I for a minute I just thought, and then you know what I did? I meditated on it, and I literally brought her into my space, and I just kept saying, "I love you, I love you, I love you." Because and I was having a conversation with my friend yesterday, and she's had something like terrible happen to her, and um, I was talking about forgiveness. I'd give her one of my cord cutting meditations, and she was like, I can't do it. I can't forgive. I really struggled with it. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. People really struggle with the forgiveness part, but and as I kept saying, you're only hurting yourself from what you're holding on to. So when you use these words, they are super, super healing, and it's enabling you to let go of whatever is blocked within that energy. No matter what anyone's done to you, it's about more about forgiving yourself for either being in that circle, in that environment, allowing it to happen to you, or it's just really, really healing. Just to reiterate how powerful words are. And this afternoon, I've just felt great. You know, after doing that meditation, actually sending that person unconditional love, no matter what's happened, it made me feel great. And this is the power that we have, that we harness within us, but we just we're not educated how to really, really tune into that unconditional love and compassion. Next slide, Aziza. And one of my favorites is the movement. Shake, stretch, shift, because we have to move the energy out of ourselves. So anything that you've all the different things that you can do to help, but this is it's so, so powerful just to move. Obviously, with doing the yoga, especially with the yin, I do the yin yoga as well, and that really helps release any stored energy within the body, within the connective tissue. But just literally shaking, just shake it out. Even just shake it out now. So I was going to give you some I don't even know if you'd be able to see me because of the but there is yeah, just jumping up and down and just shaking your whole body. You'll be going home and your family going, what the heck are you doing? And just get everybody involved because it's fun, like shaking, stretching, moving. You could put your hands on your shoulders and just doing the twist and getting your digestive system moving as well. It's so good for you. And there's some questions in there about, just do the next slide, please. Some questions. Dance like no one is watching. This is me at the retreat, one of the retreats I did, getting everybody up and dancing. It's a lot of fun. Asking yourself, there's some questions in the workbook about when was the last time you belly laughed? When was the last time that you danced around in your kitchen? Shh. Riley's getting excited. He says, me too. Shush. Because play is medicine, and it's about accessing that inner child. And through this last 3 years has been pretty tough for me. Well, very, very tough. Probably the hardest thing I've been through. And it's almost being able to access that inner child and be around people that allow you to do that. And if you've got a friendship group there, you can just be really silly and daft and dance around. And if you haven't, you need to change your friendship group. I'm joking. But no, there is so much beauty and joy in being able to do that. Doing a roly-poly across the floor, you know, it's the life is just too serious, isn't it? We just go through life and we're just on this hamster wheel, and it's time just to have more fun. And the more fun that you have, then the more you will take that energy into every area of your life. So it's really important. So yeah, next, so the other few questions, obviously the inhale deeply, you can go to the next one. And I've just made a little breathe acronym. Next one, Caesar. Just talking about just how to breathe efficiently, the breath you didn't know you were holding. If anyone is, if you're ever feeling stressed, the first port of call should just be the breath, just tuning into that breath. And which is why when we're given a paper bag, when we're having a panic attack, or we're just told to breathe deeply when we're upset, because the breath is literally our life force. It's prana. It's the life force energy that's within us. And when we acknowledge it more and we really focus on doing it properly, then it is super healing as well. So belly first, when we inhale, just inhaling, pushing out the belly, regulating the rhythm. If we do breathe in for 4 and out for 6, and breathing in through the nose, breathing out almost like you're breathing through a straw, will slow down the breath and it will calm the nervous system. It will bring you back into the awareness of the present. It will allow you to tune into your body, what areas of tension that you may have. If you have areas of tension, or quite often we try and ignore them. And I would really tell you to focus on them areas, and when you're breathing in, send that energy to them areas and say, I love you. I'm touching my shoulder because I've got a stiff shoulder. So I really try and think about, because again, we're cells, we're energy. Our cells are listening to our every thought, our every feeling. So by honing in on the areas that need tension, need relaxing, and just saying, it's safe to relax, it's safe to let go, I love you, in our mind while we're doing the breath. So we'll just do a little breathing exercise. We're going to do a few rounds of breathing in for 4 and out for 6, just like I've said. So it's breathing in. So you can put your hand on your chest and you can put your hand on your belly. And you can just, so you're really aware of the air going into your body, your spine straight. This is how I would really say to start any meditation practice, just with the breath, to get you tuned in. Meditation is, obviously I've not gone into meditation on this one because we've run out of time, but it is doesn't have to be done for hours on end. It can be a few minutes. It can be it's just about awareness of the breath, awareness of the present. You can use affirmations, you can use guided. There's so many different ways to do it. But ultimately, it's just about really tuning in to that breath. So breathing in through the nose, closing down the eyes, keeping the spine straight, relaxing the shoulders. Just allowing the breath to come in through the chest and into the stomach. And then breathing out, making a straw-like shape with the mouth. Just really exhaling for that little bit longer, then inhale through the nose again. Feeling the body inflate, hold for a second at the top, and then release through the mouth. 2 more times, breathing in. And exhale. Inhale. Now on the exhale, I want you to really focus on expanding this beautiful energy that you've harnessed through the heart center. And just know that that is available for you anytime, anywhere. Tuning into that energy space and knowing that all is well and you are safe in this moment. And you have the power to do anything. And no one has the power to disrupt this beautiful inner peace of yours unless you allow them to. Because we know the bingo game now. And open your eyes. You can get it back to full screen now, please, Caesar. So that's come to the end of the webinar. Thank you for joining me. I'm sorry that I've run over a bit. I knew I would, because I tried to practice it, run through, and yeah, I've gone even longer this time, so sorry. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me. Like I said, there is different elements that I can run through within that dentist. I want to talk about a number of different things, but there's only so much you can fit into 45 minutes. But yeah, I'd love to come back. I'd love to talk more in depth. There's like, I can talk about more healing techniques. There's tapping. There's lots of different breath work. There's the yoga. The shiatsu, there's so many, the meridian lines, the chakra points, there's so many things that I can talk to you about. But yeah, but I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, I hope that you got something from it. And with the workbook, like I said, they're just really nice journal prompts, self-exploration questions that it's just nice to sort of to give that to yourself at times, and to create them affirmations and reinforce them every day. And it's really important. So with that, I will say thank you. And is there any questions? I'll have a look out there. I think there's a, let's see, who said thank you. Won't be on camera, sorry. All right, okay. Somebody said sorry for not being on camera. So yeah, if you've got any questions, please do feel free to ask them. I can I'll get Steve to pass on my email if you want to contact me directly and ask me anything. As a gift from me, I don't mind sending you one of my guided meditations. I will do that. I'll get that sorted. I'll send it to Steve and he can send it out, or Jen. And yeah, and I hope you enjoyed the webinar. So thank you so much.
Thank
Namaste.
you.
Thank you. Thank you, Becky. And I'll see you soon.